Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 263 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you guys so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Instagram, and live on
Rumble!
We are so grateful to have you guys with us. And of course, if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thank you so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. Grateful to have you guys with us.
Yes,
as always, click on all the big, beautiful buttons.
That one right there.
The like button, the
That one.
subscribe
Over
button,
there.
the follow
Over
button.
Over
We have a
Over there.
fantastic show coming up this evening.
You think so?
Fantastic special guest.
I mean, they might have heard of this guy before that's going to be on the show
I'm
tonight.
pretty sure
Pretty sure.
people
Might know him a little bit.
have heard of him.
I didn't recognize him when I seen him. But
Yeah.
Before
People
we-
may be a little thrown off when our guests.
before we get into that, first of all, I want to give our prayers and our positive vibes to all our brothers down and sisters in Florida that are getting their tails whooped again.
Yes, unfortunately, a big storm just last week, and another one's on the way.
So be careful, guys, and stay safe.
Hunker down if you have to.
God's blessings.
And we just, hope all you guys stay safe.
Yep. So let's get back to sports.
Well, okay,
I'm going to try to have my Matt Ty voice tonight.
Major League Baseball playoffs are underway. It's good because from what we're seeing, teams are competing. I haven't seen any, severe blowouts as far as there's no winless teams in any of the series. So, well, I mean, in the now that we're in the divisional series,
Yankees are playing their second game tonight.
Are Yankees won, and have they won?
They won Friday, I think it was.
Well, okay, so I'm sorry for when there's been multiple games.
Oh no, I think you're right.
Yeah, because the National League is ahead on games as far as how many they've played. But it's been entertaining. I mean, that Phillies game was unbelievable. If you didn't watch that Phillies game yesterday, I believe it was, or whenever the last, it was incredible. A lot of fun to watch. The Wild are 4-2 in the preseason,
Nice.
so they're looking good. Still, but time will tell. There's a lot of so-called bigwig hockey analysts that are saying this could be a way better year for the Wild.
I hope so, because
We'll see.
you guys, you Minnesota guys. I mean, I'm an Islanders fan, so every time we make the playoffs, I'm happy.
You'll take what you.
It's like being a Jets fan, which we could speak of,
and then now we have the NFL. So
the Vikings beat the Jets. Which,
how do you feel about that? Being that you're a Vikings fan and a Jets fan,
it was like two of my kids were fighting, and I was just gonna go with the winner. No, I was actually cheering for the Vikes. I like Sam Darnold, his story, and going back to New York and getting not back to New York, but playing New York and getting that win. I think they exposed him a little bit on that. That defense is pretty good.
Aaron Rodgers does not look good.
He looks old.
He does not look good. I mean, he's
old and
he
crabby.
makes a couple good plays here and there, but he does not look like his old self.
No. He's 40. That's old.
The Packers barely squeaked out a win.
A win is a win.
I know, but it was an ugly win.
Love's still yearning. He's yearning for victory, but he's learning.
A lot of mistakes from the offense and the defense. More stupid penalties, turnovers. They got to play, cleaner, I guess.
But we were talking a little bit before the program started. The North is looking tough right now.
Yeah, NFC North.
NFC North is looking tough.
That was not. I don't know. I did not expect that. I expected really good things from the Vikings and the Lions. I was hopeful about the Packers, the Bears. I just wasn't sure about that young quarterback that they got, but they seem to be doing good things. And their defense, the Chicago defense, is insane. Also,
and so you think one of the teams are going to crash in the North?
I think. I don't know. Honestly, it just seems to be the way things happen when you have any division. When that division is all pretty steadily winning games, that eventually you reach a point in about mid-season where one of the teams in that division just slowly starts to go downhill. And I don't know who it's going to be. I hope it's not the Packers.
I hope it's not the Vikings.
What are you going to do?
But I just don't want anybody in the Central to get hurt. It scared me on Sunday when a couple guys looked like they were hurt.
Yeah.
You're
dating yourself by saying Central.
Yeah. The black and blue division.
The NFC Central, which it was until what, 2004?
They changed it?
2004. It's NFC North.
Oh, Central. So what do you have there?
I know. Let's find out, or not find out, but we are going to definitely get into this evening's whiskey on Spirit of Mystery. And that is brought to us by our friends at Postania Cigars. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list, but found their way onto other lists? Well, fortunately, you can be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the #1 unranked cigar in the industry.
So this is going to be our second time that a viewer has sent us some spirits.
Viewer supplied spirits. Thank you, viewer. Can you reveal who the viewer or
Colin? I hope I don't butcher his last name. Colin McClure.
Okay, Colin. Thank you for this evening's Spirit of Mystery.
And this happens to be his buddies from his buddies' pub. They made especially for his pub.
Oh, a barrel pick just for them. I like it.
There's no other stuff. Here it is. And the name of the pub is.
It's a very nice bourbon. We were talking about it before. I was nosing the bourbon before we went on the air, and it's very nice. It's there's a ton going on. It's complex. It's got good color. It's got good legs. So a little taste.
And I'm not going to even try to butcher this name. This is the name of the pub.
McAuliffe's.
Yes, and I think it's in Wisconsin.
Oh, that's really nice.
It is. It's in Rice, in Wisconsin.
All right, so that's a nice bourbon. It doesn't taste high proof. I'd say maybe in the 100-ish proof range, maybe somewhere between 100 and 110.
And we were when I poured it for him earlier, he was smelling it, and he's getting different stuff, and I actually smelled it too, and I was sniffing it. It's smelling good, and then right away I got green apple. Yeah,
it's got bright notes to it. I mean, it's got the classic bourbon notes like oak and vanilla and that stuff too, but there's cherries and apple and good stuff. So I'm definitely going to continue to enjoy this throughout the show. And as always, we will reveal it
at the end of the show.
So let's bring on our special guest of the evening. Special guest on How About That Cigar, always brought to us by our friends at Drew Estate. And for the first time ever, Drew Estate has given fans a sneak peek of the brand behind a Freestyle Live event pack. Deadwood Cigars, but consumers get to guess which of the Deadwood's girls is making her debut. Each FSL pack is priced at $40 and includes 3 mystery premium cigars, a Freestyle Live torchlighter, cigar cutter, and ashtray. And of course, each pack comes with a QR code for an entry into a sweepstakes featuring a grand prize of a Harley Davidson Fat Boy 11. Second prize is a custom $4,500 humidor, and 10 lucky winners will snag a custom ashtray from Subculture Studios. For more information, please visit drewestate.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please put your hands together. Welcome back to the show. This time for episode 263 from Tatuaje, Pete Johnson. Welcome back to the show, brother.
What's up, brother?
I'm trying to get honey and whatever other shit you said was in that drink.
You're getting subtle notes
Are you
of
getting apples?
Subtle notes of
cranberries.
bourbon. Yeah, yummy. Okay,
What are you drinking?
how is everybody? You know what, dude? I didn't bring the bottle with me. I just poured it and did not bring the bottle over with
You
me.
didn't look at the bottle.
Long story. Mo sent me. Actually, Mo has a friend that makes bourbons, and he sent me a couple bottles. And if you have a moment, I can go get the bottle and show you.
We have 10 moments. Go ahead.
Okay, hold on. Well, that's going to be dangerous because that means I can do a refill easy.
Yes.
That's kind of yeah. Raul has a desire to get the world drunk, except for people who don't drink.
This is actually a very great bourbon, and I love the packaging. And it's called Mary Dowling.
Oh, very nice.
It's Irish.
Yeah. The bottle is amazing. Like just really
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Interestingly enough, my buddy went to the Habanos party in London to celebrate Trinidad's new release, and they gave him a gift box, which he in turn gave to me. And inside the box was this bottle of rum, really cool rum. And then I realized the two glasses in the box were actually just cut down bottles.
Oh,
cool.
I love that when they.
Yeah, because even the edges were a little sharp. I think Cuba got a little too cheap to shave them down. To round them off and smooth it, like they lost their sandpaper or something. But yeah, no, really cool. I haven't tried. Well, I tried the cigar because someone else gave me the cigar. Very nice. The rum I have not tried. I left the whole package with my buddy because I was like, dude, where am I going to put this thing? So I left it at his house.
Right on.
So what are you smoking, Pete?
I'm actually smoking a cigar called the Phoenix that was made for a friend of mine in London. So
okay, right on.
It's a custom rolled Cuban that this lady Magali from Souder had made for her, and she gave me a few of them, and she wanted my opinion. I told her that it reminded me of something I would have put together. So
nice.
So it's very enjoyable.
Raul, what are you smoking?
I'm smoking a snake. It's a snake. Look, it's a snake.
It is a snake.
It's no, I don't want to be. That's really
Culebra. So the Fausto.
Hey, I gotta reverse a little bit though.
Going back to drinking?
No, Vikings. I didn't watch the game. Did they win?
They did win. They're 5-0 now.
Jets.
Okay, because you don't. I don't know. Maybe I mentioned this the last time I was on, but the only kid left in the house because the other two kids are either graduated college or in college is a Viking fan.
That's right. Yeah. You did mention it.
Yeah, and so I bought him I didn't buy him. I ordered a bunch of shit from Uline the other day, and I saw that I could get a free Viking sweatshirt, so I got him a free Viking sweatshirt.
Oh, nice. Sweet. Nice.
And
and I think it's time. I'm going to fire up the same. I got sponsor.
Oh, this is a sponsor.
No. I love it. Hurricane update. It's quiet here in Miami. Not even a plane going over ahead of us. So, I spoke too soon. There was a plane above me.
right when you say something, the plane flies overhead.
Are you going to get hit in the next couple of days?
We're going to get hit with a lot of wetness and a little bit of wind.
Okay.
Yeah, we're already like underwater here, and I hear fucking a toad out there in my yard. So I need to get my BB gun out and go toad hunting. It's going to get pretty nasty as far as the weather goes around here. Last week we lost power, like for a couple hours in the middle of the day, and it wasn't even wet outside. It was like really irritating. But we're faring pretty well. If it stays on the path that it's on, unfortunately, everybody about 2 hours northeast of us is going to get hit, or northwest.
Yeah.
So,
well, hoping
it doesn't look good, man.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. We're really hoping that it turns out to be more minor than they're predicting. But again, if you're anybody who's in the path, just hunker down and get yourselves ready.
I know some people that are staying. They're gonna weather through it. I'm like, Jesus. I know a lot of people that are coming back down south here to Miami to get away from it. But Kevin Shahan he's like staying at home. And Kevin's a pretty wise dude, so I think he understands how to get shit done.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty confident that he's going to be pretty safe. But man, he's literally directly in the center of the path.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm going to fire up another third of this Culebra, and I'm going to do it on the Cigar Toast Cam. Cigar is the leading cigar accessory brand with innovative butane lighters, precision cigar cutting instruments, travel cases, and humidors. Each product is designed and manufactured with the utmost precision and attention to detail. The result is a range of products that exude quality and refinement, reflecting the brand's dedication to excellence. For more information, please visit Cigar.com. There we go.
It's a slippery snake.
have you ever burnt your microphone cord doing that?
Nope, the microphone, no.
No, but the foam on the front of the microphone
Has been lit on fire before?
Oh, there's so many, not lit on fire, but like the lid end of the cigar hitting the foam. There's so many little dots on it from that. It's it is what it is. What are you gonna do?
It's a snake. Sorry.
Snake.
3 picks.
So, Month of Monsters is back again, and this year, along with the Wolfman Redux, also the Monster Smash. So, when it came to, let's start with the Redux. When it came to the Redux, we've talked about this before in previous years, but we're always curious, sort of because every blend, you wanted to evoke what the previous blend evoked, but getting that exact match is, it's sort of an adventure. But so how do you approach it when specifically when these Reduxes get put together?
Well, I mean, I start with what we have as the recipe and the blend that we had on paper based on Viso, Ligero, primings of leaf, obviously, the wrapper and the 2 binders that we use. What happens from there is whether or not it tastes good. If it doesn't taste good, I search for it to be complete. And if it does taste good, I kind of let it sit. It's really trying to get it to a point where it's good for my palate and also giving me the memory of the way I remember it the first time.
Yeah. Now, was this
fairly simple? I don't go into like the Drac, for example. If we could go back a couple of years, I actually changed the blend a little bit because I wanted it to have a little bit more than taking the original blend. The original blend seemed to be a little too passive. So I needed something with a little bit more roundness and kick. And I just upped it a little bit by changing the priming of one of the Visos. That's it.
Okay. And of the Reduxes so far, which one would you say was just took the most kind of going back and forth, just trying to get it where you wanted it?
Well, no, that would have been the Drac, because that was the one that I wasn't 100% on the original paper blend. So I said, okay, we need to change it and kick it up a little bit. And that was like 2 or 3 iterations before I said, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for, it's been...
This one was really simple.
Oh, this year's was?
Yeah. I mean, it was really about the wrapper and getting the flavor profile from the wrapper. But the first sample I tried in the factory was spot on for what I wanted.
Yeah. And for one of the things that makes it a fun release is the samplers, the little monsters, pudgy monsters, Monster Mash, Monster Smash. So
yeah, it gives me another headache.
Yeah, it gives you another headache. But from the standpoint of getting all these blends into a sampler and sort of a new and interesting presentation, different vitolas, different experiences, box press versus not. This is we're looking at the first one of these where the whole line is all in that box press format. So did any of the blends not want to cooperate with a box press format?
No, I actually thought that they all did fairly well, but I think some surprisingly did better than I expected them to be. Like the Hyde, who that cigar was generally kind of like not greatly received originally because people were like, oh, Jekyll and Hyde, whatever. But when it came to this Monster Smash, I got a lot of emails and messages about the Hyde being like the standout. But then like you have things like the Kruger, which everybody loved. But it's nice to hear the cigars that people didn't like go crazy for the first time, and they actually liked them better in the Smash version. So yeah, I actually enjoyed the Smash format, and it was just one of those things like I wanted the blends in like a simple one size to make it easier on the factory, because when we did the match, it was a lot of work. There was a lot going on, making sure that all the sizes kind of mimicked the original size but smaller. And then I was like, how can we simplify this? And it kind of went back to when we did the Lancero samplers and the Cazadores samplers, and it was all one format. And the Smash, of course, because of the box pressing. So
Matt is gonna whoop my ass here soon. My phone keeps vibrating. So
which is because you're getting all the notifications?
Nah, because people are asking me what, just dumb shit. Well, not dumb shit. I appreciate people reaching out, but you know how I am with these things.
Here.
You should see him over here. He was just grabbing his hand. I thought he was gonna smack the shit out of me.
No, I would never do that.
It was
he wants you to read. He wants you to read the messages.
No, it was
phone, instead of having to pick up your phone every time.
It was Jason and Tony sending me pictures that they're smoking the Culebra too.
Oh, nice.
So
the audience participation can't fault that. I don't know why Matt's got a pants in a bunch, but
because the vibrating on the table.
I'm old, and you did not just break that.
My phone is too heavy.
I'm old and cranky. There, see?
I think we're all old and cranky, but I think I have a few more years on you.
Just set the fucking thing down. You're killing me. There we go. See? That's sort of, I don't know what's happening now, but
it spread its legs.
I like
it's gonna
it.
Fly.
Wings.
Fucking kids, I tell you.
Wings.
Spread
your wings and fly, not spread your legs and fly.
Spread your legs and fly. That's a little different.
It's spread your wings
and fly might have happened at a Diddy party.
Did you personally know Diddy?
No. I'm thankful that I was never invited to a party.
Mm-hmm.
You had to bring a buttload of.
Don't say buttload when you're talking about Diddy.
I was going to say buttload of oil.
You say pause after that. Buttload pause.
Excuse me.
So Pete, I have to veer away from cigars for a minute because
I was gonna say you're gonna
spread in a different direction.
We're gonna spread. Yeah, we're gonna. Anyway, so the show is like a finely oiled machine. Get oiled. No, sorry.
Okay. got one more joke left, and then we have to stop the Diddy jokes.
We'll save it for later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I posted something on Facebook last week, I think it was, about the band Oasis and their big reunion tour, and you left a comment saying, you know, that we really had to discuss this when you were on the show. So
I said it would be a fun discussion.
I love it.
But
Don't tell me you like that band, do you?
I enjoyed Oasis, actually. I did. I thought they're a very good band because I like the style of music. It's not for everybody, but shit, the music I played wasn't for everybody. So I appreciated it was funny. A quick story. There's a guy I know. He's the lead guitarist and lead songwriter for a band called Busted. And I said to my other friend the other night, I said, we were drinking, obviously. I said, James should actually sit down and write an album with Liam Gallagher. So my friend called him and said, hey, James, Pete thinks you should write some music with Liam Gallagher. He's like, mate, yeah, you know, it's just better to stay away and just appreciate them for what they are, but don't, yeah. Why would I want to torture myself with that? That's what he said. It was a great, honest answer. And meanwhile, by the way, while he was doing that, I'm going to throw a name in here. While he was doing that, while we were like sending him a voice message or calling him, he happened to be working with Louis Capaldi, I think, who might be way more talented.
Yeah.
But it was funny. My buddy introduced me to. He goes, "Oh yeah, James is working with this new guy. He's fairly new. You probably don't know him, but he's like the next Ed Sheeran." I go, "Who?" And he goes, "Louis Capaldi." I go, "Of course I fucking heard of Louis Capaldi, dude. Like, I'm not a fucking moron." Anyway, I enjoyed Oasis. Back to that. I enjoyed the band. I liked them for what they were. There was some angst in there that I enjoyed. They were kind of a derivative between the Beatles and the Sex Pistols. But I enjoyed it. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing them live because I never got to see them live back then.
So do you think it's possible? Do you think it's possible to like somebody's music and not like them?
Oh yeah, they were total pricks. I mean, honestly, I think you can totally like people's music and just say, man, that guy's a fucking asshole, but he writes good songs.
Yeah. Well, and so I guess
most people that age, when they were getting famous, they were young enough to give them a little forgiveness of just pure stupidity.
Yeah.
I mean, I did the same thing. Like, there's a lot of stupid shit that we did that we should never be forgiven for. But you know, people still like us.
Well, and when I look back at when Oasis was really popular, you know, it wasn't for me. You know, the style of their songs, the structure of their songs, just kind of the vibe of it just wasn't for me. And you know, but I don't think they were untalented. That's not my point. Is that
what were you listening to back then? So I can get a general idea. Like, so
this would have been like late 90s, mid.
Oh, so you were if you're late 90s.
No, I'm asking. I can't remember when Oasis was in their prime. Was that like mid to late 90s? Yeah,
and honestly, like the first album's better than even though the second album's got the notoriety, the first album's better.
In that time period, I was really into, well, for a lot of the 80s too. It was either hip hop or really heavy rock, or the heavier end of grunge. You know, not the like Nirvana grunge, but like Soundgarden and, you know, Alice in Chains,
Candlebox.
Yeah.
You listened to a lot of Nickelback back then, too.
Honestly, I think I like Nickelback.
Every album goes platinum, so somebody's got to like them.
Listen, have you watched? Like, I didn't like Nickelback. I said the first time I ever heard Nickelback, I said, "Oh man, this was a favor by some record company executive. Like, a guy's uncle owns the record company." I was convinced, but I watched their documentary, and I had a newfound respect for them.
Yeah,
like, they're super talented. The guy is a super talented songwriter, and
right.
you have to. I mean, there's some people that just know how to get into the pocket of the same chords and that make a perfect song every time. Like, there's a formula, and some people just do it really well. And that's how Noel Gallagher was with writing. I was more pissed when I found out that Liam didn't have anything to do with the songs, and I liked Liam better.
Yeah.
So a quick story on Nickelback. I was give or take them. I didn't really whatever. If they were on, I listened to them until I seen them in concert.
Oh, you saw them
and I
live.
became a fan.
Yeah, I heard their live show is a blast.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a big part of it too. Is there's some bands that, you know, recordings, you know, radio, Spotify, whatever it is, they're good, and then you see them live, and you're just blown away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
or disappointed.
Or disappointed.
I think the reason why I really want to see Oasis live now, and I wish I would have seen them when they were in their prime, is because the audience participation is nuts.
Okay.
Yeah, they bring in their audience like crazy. And what's nuts is that, not for nothing, but you know, they've been broken up, but Liam Gallagher has already sold out Wembley before they got back together. Like he was playing with. He had a great solo career after they broke up. I think 6 UK number one hits. Like, he did fairly well, but he co-wrote songs with other people. But the audience participation is nuts, and that's why I want to have a seat and not in the middle of the field, because it'll be just too crazy.
Yeah, audience participation, I think, is a big. And not necessarily participation, that's not the right word, but just audience engagement, getting them, you know, wanting to be there, and excited about the fact that they're there, and with each and every song that goes by during the set, the audience is just like, I'm so glad I'm here. I am so glad I'm not missing the show. And like tomorrow night,
dude, you like Fish?
Not really.
Yeah, see, I wasn't into it. My brother was into it. And he said they were an amazing live band, but like, I could give a shit about Fish. Like, I could give a shit about the Grateful Dead, but everybody says, "Oh, you got to go to a Dead show to experience it to kind of understand why people love them so much." You know, and someone just said too, Jimmy Buffett.
Two of my favorite live shows ever. Not necessarily because I was like ultra super into their music, but because they were so much fun on stage. One was Styx and the other was Night Ranger. They were absolutely incredible. And this is back in the 80s. I mean, they were just, you know, they weren't my favorite music, you know, my favorite, you know, bands out there, but the shows they put on were bonkers.
How old are you?
53.
Oh shit, we're the same age.
Yeah.
Wait, when did you turn 53?
July.
Oh, so you're a 71 baby.
Yeah, 71.
Are you 72?
70.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1970 is a good year. Better for wine too. So sorry for you. 71 sucked for wine.
Oh, so I don't think I've ever had a 71 or a 71.
Did they make Boone's Farm in 71?
Boone's Farm? No.
Boone's Farm back in the 80s was amazing.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. $1.99, baby. Strawberry Hill.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
can't remember my name.
I agree with Josh over here too. Creed put on an excellent show too. I seen them in concert. They put on an excellent show.
There you go. And that was a band I didn't like, and I even hate the cologne. I know they're not related, but they're both good. They're both really good, but I just refuse to want to go near them. So.
Well, and another band that's the opposite that I heard from multiple people that saw them live back in the again early 90s. Their recordings are great, and I still love listening to them. But multiple friends have told me that Rage Against the Machine live is terrible. But I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never seen them live, but I know I love to listen to their recordings.
Yeah, and all that. There's a lot of bands that I love listening to their songs on the recordings, but live it's just a bunch of noise.
There's one band that you guys
like Chris Cornell. That band, Soundgarden was pretty noisy, but Chris Cornell's voice just stuck out.
Yeah. One of the best voices of all time.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's one band that I wish I was old enough to see. The Allman Brothers.
Oh yeah.
I grew up on them. My dad played them religiously. I just never got a chance.
There's a lot of bands like that you just wish that you could go back in time and watch.
Yeah.
That was a different time though, man. There were a lot of drugs going on back then.
Yeah, to see like Zeppelin in the early 70s, and honestly, the Doobie Brothers. To see the Doobie Brothers when they were just absolutely hitting it on every possible cylinder, that would have been incredible. And to see Metallica
in their
late 80s, early 90s Metallica, I would have loved to see live. I saw Motley Crue live in 89, and it was fun. The music wasn't good. I mean, as far as pure musical performances, but the show was an absolute riot. It was a blast. And I was very drunk.
I enjoyed Metallica. I never got to see Cliff Burton. And me being a bass player, that's a big miss, right? But I love Newstead. I'm not a big Metallica fan right now because as much as I appreciate Trujillo as a bass player, I still don't think he fits in Metallica, even though he's been in Metallica for 20 years already.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's been
that long,
right?
Because Metallica got started in 79 or 80. I mean, as far as when it was just Lars and James.
Yeah, but they started. I think it was 84, right?
That's when
it's 84.
That's when I think that's when Kill 'Em All came out, was 84.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a cigar named after it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a band that Floyd just said, Kiss, put a question mark. I think they're one of the most overrated bands, but I heard their live show was phenomenal.
I never saw them live.
Yeah, I never saw them live. I don't think from a musical proficiency, actual really raw talent at playing their instruments and playing together as a band, it was particularly good. But I've heard that their live shows in their heyday were a lot of fun.
Gene Simmons is surprisingly an amazing bass player.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird because you look at the show, it's just a show, but they are all very talented musicians. But yeah, it was more about the show and just the theatrics.
There goes our boy Colin. Colin, thanks again for donating that bottle.
Colin, thank you, brother.
We appreciate it.
And I'm so sorry that I'm forgetting his name right now. I think it's Jeff. Last name escapes me. The bass player for Pearl Jam, I was always a huge fan of.
Yeah, and that was I wasn't a big Pearl Jam fan.
Oh, okay.
Really?
I really was.
I was.
I listened to a lot of Pearl Jam, obviously. I think Eddie Vedder's voice was kind of one of those voices that stood out during that whole grunge genre. Here we go, a giant plane above me. But the bass player, amazing bass player, but for some reason I wasn't a big enough Pearl Jam fan to really care.
Yeah.
Great musicians, absolute great musicians.
What about the band?
I was really into Nirvana back then, so.
I wasn't. I was more of a Pearl Jam guy than I was a Nirvana guy. I have respect for what Nirvana did, but if I had to choose to listen to one or the other, I'm going to choose Pearl Jam personally.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean their songs were amazing.
Yeah,
but yeah, I get it. You always wonder what would Nirvana be if the band still was around.
If What's Her Love wouldn't have killed
I don't know if they. I feel like with all the stuff that's happened, even especially with Dave Grohl and all the stuff he did with Foo Fighters. And regardless of how anybody feels about Foo Fighters music, there's no denying the popularity that they've had for the last 30 years. And
no, a great band. Not a great husband, but a great band.
Yeah.
I like the band, and what I like about them is they didn't keep Nirvana. They started a whole new.
Well, and that's why I think that if Kurt Cobain would have been able to make it through the shit that he was going through, and I don't think Nirvana would have been together for a really long time. I think Nirvana would be doing like the occasional reunion tour right now, but I think Dave Grohl still would have moved on to something else, and I think Kurt would have moved on to something else. But
you know who I like in the Foo Fighters, and I always blank on his name, but the awkward guitar player, that one awkward guitar player,
Pat Smear.
Yes, absolutely love him. I always forget his name.
He's awesome, man. He's played with so many groups. Before Nirvana, before Foo Fighters, he's played with a lot of groups, and I think a really underrated guitar player. He's super talented.
I think he's a great guitar player. That's just me personally, and I was actually happy that he got back into the band, because there was a brief period where I think Dave got rid of everybody and decided he was better off having all these people around him.
Yeah.
What was the band?
Oh shit! Cornell. Yes, Fishbone. Yeah. A funny story. Angelo from Fishbone actually saved my life.
Oh damn! Gotta hear this.
Yeah.
I was dating a girl in Hollywood, and we went out one night, and Angelo was dating her roommate, and we were hanging out, running up and down to this party not too far from where my girlfriend at the time lived, who actually, this is a pretty interesting place, by the way. I met a lot of really cool people, and some that I didn't expect to meet. But before I get into the Angelo part, one night I'm sitting at her apartment with Angelo and knock on the door, and I answer the door, and John Frusciante standing in front of me.
Jeez.
And I said to my girlfriend, I said, "Why is John Frusciante here?" And she goes, "He comes to meditate on the balcony because this is where Hello Slowik died."
Oh man.
I was like, "Holy fuck, okay." Angelo was just really cool, man. He kind of, he didn't know me from Adam back then, but ultimately he knew that I was close with his girlfriend, and I got really drunk and ended up falling asleep and vomiting while I was laying on my back.
Oh.
And he picked me up out of pure just drunkenness, or basically alcohol poisoning, and threw me into the toilet. And he kind of made a joke the next day, where he said, "Sing to the Dookie Master." I said, if you can hear Angelo's voice, and I do all the time, he's like, "I put that pitcher of water right next to you. I told you to sing to the Dookie Master. You didn't even take one drink of that water." And it was one of those moments of pure stupidity. And thankfully someone was willing to grab me while I was vomiting and threw me into the toilet. So.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. It's not, by the way, it's not a good thing to vomit while you're laying on your back.
Nope.
I heard that was a bad thing.
Nope. Well, I'm sure as a firefighter, you've seen that probably 100 times in your career.
A couple of times.
Yeah.
So every once in a while I would see Angelo, because we didn't live too far from each other. And I would see him and I would just thank him, and I would say, "You remember you saved my life?" He goes, "I remember. You didn't drink any of that water." So yeah, I haven't seen him in probably 30 years, but it was kind of cool. Yeah, just to know the guy for a brief moment.
Yeah.
There was a band, I can't remember the name. It had Chris Cornell and the guys from who we were just talking about, Rage Against the Machine.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, you're killing me. I know. What the fuck? What's the band?
It's not Velvet Revolver.
No.
That's
No,
what's
that was
his
Stone
name?
Temple Pilots and
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses.
What the hell's the name of the band?
Yeah, it was Chris
It's,
Cornell. and
Audio Slave.
Audio
Audio,
Slave.
thank you.
That
Thank
band
you,
was fucking
Jason.
awesome.
Audio Slave was fantastic.
Yeah. That's another guy that I wish I would have seen more was Scott Weiland. I thought he was a great singer.
Oh man,
On stage presence was
another incredible.
Stage presence was amazing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he
Well,
was
and then
awesome.
also the band's live.
Mm.
You know, I know their big like radio hit was Lightning Crashes, which was, don't get me wrong, was a good song, but they banged hard. I mean, so the Lightning Crashes was calm and sweet compared to the shit that that they really rolled with, the kind of music they really rolled with. It was heavy and deep and
Throwing Copper. That fucking album was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good call. I gotta listen to them guys. I haven't listened to them in a while. Yeah, they're a good band.
Oh man, I love talking about old music.
Me too.
You know my connection with I've talked about this before, but do you know my connection with the Stone Temple Pilots?
I don't think so.
No.
I think I told this story to you one time, but
I might have forgotten.
When our lawyers, we had good management and good lawyers, and our lawyers, our management company that was doing basically us a favor was Left Bank Management, who did Duran, the Bee Gees, Richard Marx, a bunch of very well established musicians. And our lawyers, there were two guys that joined firms, and one guy did like all like the soft hair metal stuff, like Bullet Boys and Slaughter and stuff like that. And the other guy, Eric Greenspan, did Chili Peppers, Jane's Addiction, and all these bands, like really more on the hardcore alternative stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they called us in for a meeting to talk about our future. And we were all excited, like, yes, this is it. Like, we're going to get signed. Like, this is it. And they're like, we can't represent you anymore. And we're like, what do you mean? And they said, well, we just signed a new band that we need to pay attention to, and you guys sound way too much like them. And we're like, what's the band name? They're like, Stone Temple Pilots. We're like, fuck, great, okay.
Oh.
So we ended up getting new lawyers, which we eventually broke up, but the new lawyers were looking for a hard rock band, and we were like their hard rock band because they had like Tiffany, the mall singer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
And, this guy named Yanni, the Pam
shit.
artist, whatever.
Yanni.
He's only had a few platinum records.
I forgot about that guy. The mustache and the mullet.
It's huge.
Oh, yeah. He was bigger than David Hasselhoff.
Eric Greenspan might be still one of the biggest, entertainment lawyers in the industry. But that was our brief moment of like Stone Temple Pilots beat us out on a contract.
Oh.
Was it? Excuse me. Who was it that just got a push and shove on stage? Was it Jane's Addiction?
Addiction, yeah.
Yeah.
They're done. They're done. Perry Farrell's mental.
Yeah.
How does that happen? You guys are on stage jamming, and all of a sudden,
Perry Farrell has some.
He's got some severe like chemical abuse that he needs to get straight.
Yeah. His brain is not what it used to be. He just
amazing musician though.
Yeah. And Dave Navarro, I mean, those are the guys that got into the fight. Dave Navarro, I mean, I'm not saying he's not talented. I
never loved him either.
People used to always be like, "Oh, Dave Navarro's so great." I'm like, he's not.
It was his pretty face and his persona.
He's okay. He's he wears the eyeliner and he's got the shtick with the, he's got all the tattoos and wearing leather and all that. But I was like, as far as just pure guitar talent, I'm like, he's all right. He's okay. I just never.
He's actually really, really good as far as a musician, but I just never really loved him either.
Yeah, just.
You remember when he did that show with Jason Newsted and Rockstar Supernova?
Yeah,
I don't know, something about him during that whole show just bugged the shit out of me. And I actually got to a point in time where I actually forgot that he was the guitar player for Jane's Addiction, because I think he just looked way different when he was in Jane's. He got really weird later on.
Yeah. Well, and he probably made more money from doing that tattoo reality show than he ever made from making records. That's got to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of tying in the cigars and the music piece, which we've talked about probably 1,000 times over the last close to 10 years that we've known each other, is that people gravitate towards different things for different reasons. It could be a band, it could be a beer brand, it could be a bourbon, could be a cigar brand, cars, whatever it might be. Podcasts, yeah. But what are there's obviously something about any brand that gets a lot of traction and a lot of notoriety and ends up being hugely successful. And is there a way to like pinpoint what that thing is? Because these are obviously very divergent product categories. We're talking about bands, we're talking about cars, bourbons, beers, cigars, whatever it may be. But there seems to always be something, I feel like at the center of all of it, and I'm trying not to get too philosophical here, but I feel like at the center of all of it, there's some like uniting factor that makes all these things where they just hit with people.
You need one hit.
Okay.
That's the factor that kind of stems with everything. You need one hit. I think you look, and that's why there's also so many choices. Like you could have like the best show of your career. Not tonight, obviously, but maybe with soccer or someone else, but not with me. You can have the best show of your career, and everybody's like, "Man, did you see HBTC the other night? It was amazing. They just were on fire, on point." And next thing you know, you start getting traction. I think anytime in any realm, any genre of anything, there's always that one moment where something just sparks and people start recognizing it a little bit more. That's it. I don't think there's really a deciding factor. I think aside from you need that one moment, and it's really about giving choices to people, because ultimately there's enough choices of everything that we do that some things are going to work better for other people. But if someone has notoriety on one thing, it does help.
Yeah. And
like for example, Nick did really well with his Olmec, and that sparked his career a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Florida Las Antillas was a major hit for the Garcias. If they didn't have Florida Las Antillas, maybe they wouldn't have sparked like the way they did.
Yeah.
Certain cars like Lamborghini Countach, it was just an iconic car.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That probably sparked, or there are other Lamborghinis that were fabulous, but now they're more heralded than they were when they first came out. I think it's just that one moment.
Yeah.
And eventually people start digging into your past and find that there are other great moments, and then they appreciate that more. Again, Nickelback had that one moment where that song sold millions of records, and you could ignore it at that point. There was no ignoring.
There's got to be some form of community in that too. Like, you like that? I like that.
I think
let's hang out together.
And that's one of the things we've been talking about a lot lately is community, and whatever thing you nerd out about, there's a community around it. And you meet like-minded people who are like, oh, cigar nerds are like, oh, that new tatuaje or that new, aging room or that new whatever it is. Like people they start talking about it, and new bands and cars and, guys who are into guns or whatever they may be into. We all find those sort of things to build a community around that that's the thing that we nerd out about. Mm. And so going back to the hit thing, which I think is a great way to put it, Pete. So would you say for you, that hit that really got the train rolling down the tracks with speed for Tatuaje was the Brown Label?
I think Brown Label was still kind of, it was obviously popular, but not tremendously popular. I think what really sparked interest in Tatuaje ended up being the Monster Series.
Yeah.
I think that's what got people more excited. And then people started appreciating the Miami Brown Label more. And then they started really appreciating it based on the quantities we produce. But, there was the nerd element that people fell in love with Tatuaje Brown Label in the beginning. But what really got people going was probably the Monster Series. Mm-hmm. And I think when we talk about community, Saints and Sinners was really what kind of like engulfed everything and made it a bigger thing because of what we put together with Saints and Sinners.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's talk about Saints and Sinners. Supposed to be shipping this week sometime, next week.
That's always the joke in SNS. Ships next week.
Let's see. Casper is scheduled to get here on Thursday. We'll see if his flight doesn't get canceled.
Yeah.
Well, for any saving grace for Casper, he'll just come through the Gulf instead of going around it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see if he gets out. Otherwise, he's coming in on Friday. We were packing all the kits on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, and then out the door on Monday. Ships on Monday.
I'm excited. So on your Monster Series, you put a one-off, and I need you to tell me that you're going to make this redux again. The Karloff. Are you going to make that son bitch again? Dude, I love all your cigars. I don't mean to stroke you or nothing.
Not that full-size one that came out a few years ago, maybe.
A Lancer.
But another little Boris iteration, which is a smaller version.
Yeah.
So that originally was planned to come out this year, somewhere around Boris Karloff's birthday, because I have a license with his family to do a full-fledged Boris Karloff release. But I had an issue with the packaging, so it's delayed. So
that's awesome.
Not that the packaging was really fancy. It was just I needed to kind of have a band with his face on it. So
yeah,
that makes me happy.
So thanks, Allison. Yeah. That was a great article, by the way, because my dog. I give all the props to my dog in that article. Cigar Press.
Oh, back in when was it?
2000. I want to say that magazine was 2007.
7, yeah.
It was actually working for me, packing boxes. And he had just lost a gig writing for a very big cigar company or online cigar company. And he was kind of bummed and also pissed off that they kind of let him go. I was like, dude, you're really good with writing. Why don't you just start your own little, rag magazine? And that kind of motivated him to do it. He took it to a different level. Like he's serious about writing. There's some people that are really good at it and really into it. You tell me to write shit, I'm like, so I'll get to it eventually. Like, I can't even write a quote for someone.
So we've always talked at How About That Cigar Forever about talking to non-cigar people about cigars. It's not just about getting the word out to the cigar community, because as much as we love being a part of the cigar community, we know that part of the whole hearts and minds thing with the general public is is very important for us, you know, when it comes to legislative work and that kind of thing. So, Pete, in your experience, what is the best way for us to discuss cigars with non-cigar people, and you help them understand what, you know, if we ever run into one of those opportunities, whether it's a friend or a family member, and just, you know, and they're like, why are you into cigars? And what's the best way for us to talk to non-cigar people about that?
I'll tell them to sit down if they're willing to watch a documentary about the cigar culture. I mean, hand rolled to me is still one of the best things I've ever done, and I think it's one of the best messages for the cigar industry. So for the best comments we ever got from hand rolled were people that didn't smoke cigars that happened to watch it with a family member that smoked cigars, and they said, "I'm glad you sat me down to watch this because now I understand why you love cigars so much."
Yeah,
it really ties in the community part, and I think that's a good way to get people kind of to understand it. I'm a big documentary nerd, anyways, so like I watch documentaries about everything, and sometimes I get into a documentary that I had no clue that I was going to enjoy, and I was like, "Shit!" I start recommending it to people. So I think things like that are a good way to experience cigar culture without being a cigar smoker.
Yeah. And I agree with you that, because everybody, even non-cigar people who don't use any, you know, they don't experience any tobacco products, they never have, they don't ever want to, but everybody's got a community, you know, that they are a part of, where they get together and nerd out about something, even if they're not cigar people. And I agree with you 100%, Pete, that documentary shows not only the history behind it, but it really the community part of cigars, the camaraderie and the relationships and that group like-mindedness really comes through in hand rolled. And
yeah, everybody's mind will change as soon as they see my episode, which is not going to be farewell. But no, I think having that message for people who don't really care about smoking a cigar. I mean, this culture is not for everybody, but there is something about the history lesson that someone can take something from it. And that was a big thing for me when we were doing the first one, was really to have a history lesson so people could understand how things came about and why there are so many cigar makers in the United States, why so many families left Cuba. And I think it's a good history lesson if you want to learn about, you know, where, you know, the American dream is. The hand roll's kind of big portion of it in there. So yeah, definitely.
Have you watched that Father of the Flame?
What's that? Father of the Flame. I may have seen it. I've seen a ton of documentaries. I saw one about Hiroshi Rabina,
the Prince of Smoke, or Prince of what was it called again? Prince of something?
I think it's Prince of Smoke.
Yeah.
And the old one that General Cigar did back in like 96 or something, called The Art of the Cigar.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great one. And there's one that Judi Dench does the narration for, that's all about the Cuban cigar production. It's also back, I think it was made in the 80s at some point.
Wow, dude, if you want a great wine documentary,
I love wine documentaries.
Red Obsession.
Yep.
Narrated by Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Oh.
Russell Crowe to narrate a documentary. It's really, really good. It's all about the Chinese obsession with, you know, Bordeaux and French wines, which ended up raising the prices. I think it's a great documentary. I recommend it to a lot of people. But like Somm, or saw them into the bottle, it was the
Yep.
same thing. I'm like, you guys have to watch this to understand why people drink wine.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh, why would you want to do that to yourself? Like my wife was like, you should do your somm. And I said, no fucking way. I like wine too much to torture myself to learn about all that little shit.
Yeah. Well, and the other wine documentary and of course, again, I cannot remember the name of it, but it's the one that went through the whole scandal about the guy who was selling all the counterfeit wines.
Rudy.
Yeah. And it's on, I think it's on Amazon, and it's fascinating.
Oh shit! Why am I blanking on the name? I've watched it like 100 times easily. Sour Grapes.
Yes. Yeah. It's so good.
Great movie or a great doc. Yeah, I was actually invited to one of his parties, and I you know the Hollywood Jeff guy in the documentary.
Yeah.
He actually invited me to one of his dinners one time, and he told me what they were drinking, and you know that everybody had to bring a bottle. I was like, dude, this is when I had no cigar company. I didn't have any money. I'm like, yeah, that's a little bit above my pay grade, because he was telling me, I'm like, no, you just come and drink. I go, yeah, but I'm gonna feel guilty, and someone's gonna feel like I'm just sitting there, freeloading. I'm like, I'm okay. I knew a lot of those guys in that documentary actually.
Should just bring a bottle of Boone's for.
I used to play poker with a couple of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You still?
Well, one of the guys. Nah, not anymore. But I used to play in a regular game at the Grand Nevada Room when I was younger, and we had a lot of rotating people. And that guy Arthur Sarkisian, which is the producer, not Hollywood Jeff. Hollywood Jeff played in a couple of games, but Arthur Sarkisian was the producer of Rush Hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he did pretty well for himself, and he was in love with Rudy.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Yeah, dude, Hollywood Jeff, he was a director and film producer, but then he ended up marrying this girl that his girlfriend, and actually his girlfriend / wife at the time and now still, and John Taylor, the bass player from Duran Duran, his wife started a small company called Juicy Couture. You ever heard of it?
Yeah, little fashion.
Yeah, small company. Jeez. Yeah, they sold it for so much they could afford to buy it back later on.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things are tough all over, I guess.
Yeah.
I got to roll pretty hard with some pretty fairly well established people. I don't know why I was in the room other than I was their cigar nerd. Like I was their cigar. So like that, they would bring me in to like give them opinions about cigars and find them cigars. But that was the only reason why I was invited. I learned a lot about wine because of it.
Yeah. So if there was one, because I know that you've been, this cigar nerd, since since Matt wears, I do wear Juicy all the time.
You, Allison. Thank you.
I love you, Allison. We love you. But only, Allison, only if I'm also wearing my snorkel. Only, and that's we'll talk about that off the air after.
Is there a pause after this? Are we supposed to pause now?
Just that awkward pause. Pause. Shit, I totally lost my train of thought.
Yeah, you were gonna say something.
I was gonna go off on
that one thing.
Okay. Because you've been a cigar nerd for a long time, and there were some really interesting brands back in the early 90s, mid 90s, and that aren't around anymore, with some in some cases some really cool talented people that were running those brands. And I guess some of them still sort of exist on paper, like that the names are still maybe on some bands, sold through some mail order companies here and there, but just not the same, that they used to be. Is there I know one brand from like I didn't get into them until like the mid to late 90s, but that I really miss a lot. But you know, what's a brand that you just think, man, that was one of my go-tos back in the 90s. That's just not really around anymore.
Well, okay, so I mean, obviously, Lou Rothman. Remember, Lou Rothman had a lot of brands under his umbrella before they all went back to Altadas.
Yeah.
In general, he was producing El Rey de Mundos in tissue wrap, like I think Robusto Extra, and Robusto Larger, or something like that. But there are 3 different size, like fat Robustos. And those were real. Like sometimes they would just be on point. But that was also when Frank Ineza was making them, so way back when, right? There was a fun brand that was around briefly, and I'm sure it's probably still sold by like CI or something like that, called Mi Cubano. That was a good expression of Nicaraguan tobacco. Dude, there were so many. There were some that you enjoyed, but then you realize that they're painting the wrappers, and you're like, okay, I'll stop smoking that.
Yeah.
I won't mention the names, but there were a lot of brands that disappeared that were kind of go-tos for a while. That I think maybe they're still out there, and if they're anywhere, it's probably either Santa Clara has them, or CI has them, or Famous has them. But I don't think they're even close to what they were back then. Shit. Yeah, there was a lot of different cigars. I mean, there was a brand that and I know it's still made, but I'm not sure in what capacity and how much they make of it, but there was a brand that Manolo Quesada made. So the original Romeo and Julieta vintage was made by Manuel Quesada. And back in the early 90s, you would get a box of Romeo vintage, and it had a Credo humidifier and hockey puck in the back of the box. It was like a little slot for this hockey puck of a humidification device. And all of a sudden, they just disappeared for a while. They were back ordered, they were oversold. But somehow there was a small brand that came out of Manolo's factory called Cubita.
Oh, yeah.
And Cubita at the time was basically Romeo vintage, just packaged under something that Manolo owned instead of Tabacalera back then.
Okay.
That's a really good cigar. I mean, I smoked a lot of Romeo vintages back then too. There were so many different brands, and then some brands there's brands like Casillas and shit. Oh, there was a brand that Robbie Levin had called Castaño, and it was really good when Frank Ineza was making it, and then all of a sudden Frank sold the company to General, and the cigar instantly just turned into shit. Even though like they were still using Frank's recipes and Frank's factory, it just never tasted the same.
Yeah.
It became a brand that's kind of like a house brand for them, but it's not even close to what it was. But that was it was kind of like a mock on the original Excalibur series by Jorge Monterrey.
Oh, okay. One of the brands that we've talked about, you know, in the past a number of times that both I know that you really enjoyed, I know I did too, was Bahia.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got some recent text messages from Tony Brahani. I owe him a phone call, actually. Bahia was kind of like that. He had that one set of hits where he just broke through and everybody wanted Bahia.
Yeah.
It was kind of like early La Gloria Cubana in a sense where you had to go to Miami to get some boxes of La Gloria.
Yeah.
But Bahia, I think Tony's biggest problem was he was constantly trying to find the perfect blend, and he was constantly changing the same cigar. So Bahia Gold went through so many iterations. Like one batch was amazing, probably had Cuban tobacco in it, and then the next batch was not as good. And I remember tasting like 4 different Bahia Golds while the Bahia Gold was on the shelf.
Yeah.
So I think he was struggling with finding raw material.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
back then, it was really tough to have consistent supply chain of raw material unless you were, in tight with a grower or own the farms.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's where you see the transition now, where you see more manufacturers that are actually growers also. Because we talked about that before, where there used to be a very fine division in the sand of, okay, you're a grower, that's all you get to do.
Yeah.
You're a manufacturer, that's all you get to do. Okay, we're the distributors in the United States, that's all we do.
Right.
And then now there's a guy that owns the retail shops and he gets to sell the cigars. Now you have companies that are completely all of it.
Yeah.
And then you have a lot of companies that are, 3/4 of it and then leave the retail job to the retailers.
Yeah.
So if you look at Garcia, they're everything but the retail part.
The market kind of moving the way it is, because I mean, obviously COVID was a huge boom for sales and stuff like that. And we've seen that fade, which I don't think anybody was really surprised seeing sales numbers, dwindle down again. But there's still a lot of demand. There's still a lot of, younger, 20 something, and 30 something people getting into cigars and learning about the hobby and learning about the process, wanting to dig in deeper than just, consume them. And, part of that, sort of the history and the community that makes it, I don't know, more, I don't want to say special because that's not really the word, but just more interesting, I guess, is the small family company aspect to it that sometimes grows into medium size, but they're still family companies.
Yeah.
But then, we do have, in the industry being the way it is, in 2024, big conglomerates with, very deep pockets and, able to, find good performing brands and scoop them in and make them a part of their big umbrella of brands.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, like, as you kind of look ahead, does
it interest me?
Does it interest you at all to, like, are you like watching and looking for the next big deal that's going to happen in the cigar industry, or are you just focused on what you're doing?
No, I'm always curious to see who's going to get bought up next, but it's definitely not me. I've had my offers in the past and I turned them all down because it's really, I was too young of a company to really kind of want to go in that direction. If I were to ever sell my company, it would be to the family.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure it has a long history and a long way to go, because they have now kids. We have Chip, the oldest in our house, is working full time for my father. Jaime's oldest son is working full time in the factory. And then, there's grand and great grandchildren now. So like, there's a big future to be seen from the Garcia family for sure. And we joke all the time that it would take a giant, a couple containers of cash to consider a sellout. But I'm always curious. Like, I'm always kind of like, I've sent a couple buddies of mine in the industry a couple text messages here and there, and like, hey, let me know when you sell so I can buy some stuff before it goes to shit. I'm always curious to see, the moves that are happening. I'm also kind of surprised by some of the moves. I know that there's someone in the industry who's actually taken a different direction, which I was really surprised about. I won't get into details because I don't think it's public yet, but someone's leaving a company coming up soon. I was like, okay, that's weird. I never saw that coming. So it's always interesting to see who's doing what and who's moving and who's willing to sell. I mean, there are some people that have built companies purely to sell.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
that's their game plan.
yeah, yeah, and that's I think that's the case with cigars. It's happened with a number of beer brands. Some craft beer brands, builds themselves up over the years. The next thing you know, they're owned by Miller or Anheuser-Busch. It happened with Leinenkugels. It happened with
Goose
Blumen. With who?
Like Goose Island.
Yeah, Goose Island. Yeah.
I always love that one. Oh, well, we have a like a investment from InBev, but we can do whatever we want. No, InBev owns you. Like,
Yeah,
that's the reality.
Yeah, go try to do whatever you want and let me know how that works out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we kind of see the same, it's interesting because we kind of see the same vibe when it comes to Drew and Swisher. But what people don't understand about Swisher is that Swisher is a family-owned company. They just happen to be a very big family-owned company who controls a very big market share in a certain style of cigar.
Yeah.
And they found a premium sector, and they put a lot of money into this premium sector. But Drew Estates gets to kind of have a little bit of freedom, but they're still under, the guidance of Swisher's ultimate pocketbook, right?
Yeah.
But I love the dynamic because JD is still always going to be JD,
Yeah.
And he's never going to change, and like they kind of let JD be JD, and that's what's cool about that relationship. And I actually have a great relationship with the people that are even considered JD's bosses, and I think it's pretty impressive to see, even though they come from a different genre of cigars, Swisher is actually a legitimate family-owned company, and they should be applauded that they found another small company, or actually big company, to broaden their reach.
Well, and one of the things that I have always appreciated
That's
about
deep pockets.
Well, the massive, yeah. But one of the things I've always appreciated about Drew Estate that I do believe they have kept, and this acquisition, this was quite a while. This was what, 10 years ago now?
Yeah, it's been a long time already.
So, I mean, 9 years ago, but close to 10. And they were very good at understanding their sort of their vibe and the way to reach their fans.
Yeah, they have an identity, like
and
a true.
They have a true identity, and they didn't lose that after the acquisition happened. If anything, I believe that has strengthened since that, and a lot of that has to do with reach because their parent company has very deep pockets, so they can hire more salespeople, they can hire more social media, people and advertising people and design people, video people, all that stuff. But I don't believe that. I agree with you. I don't believe they have lost that sort of core identity of
no, I don't
what
think
they
have
are.
either. I don't think they lost it either. That's why, like, if you go back to InBev and Goose Island, like the stories were there, but Goose Island was still Goose Island. I don't know about it anymore because I don't follow craft beer as much as I used to, but they were very much Goose Island even when InBev was involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love. I mean, Drew Estates will always be Drew Estates. It's not, just because they have a very big pocket behind them. They're totally different companies, and they're totally different avenues, and they let Drew do their own thing with a watchful eye. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
So,
listen, if you're any company that's big enough to buy another company, you're not going to sit back and let them blow through money. You're gonna be very mindful of how they spend it so it doesn't affect the bottom line. And luckily for all of us, Drew Estates was left to do their own thing, but with a very mindful pocketbook.
Yeah.
So who do you think's the next company that might get bought out? One of our viewers said Espinosa.
I don't know. I mean, if Espinosa got bought, it would probably be through General, if I had to guess. That would be my only guess. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Dion was going to get bought up. I knew John Huber wasn't interested. You know, yeah, I don't see Espinosa. If anybody would go for Espinosa, it would have to be General.
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know if Espinosa's. I don't think Eric wants to go
he's
down
got his
that
kid
road.
going into it now.
Yeah,
That's the difference. There's a lot of kids getting into it. Like when I say kids, there's a lot of younger generations of cigar kids getting into the business, and we're finally bridging this. I say this all the time, but we're finally bridging this gap that we had. We had a gap of 5 to 7 years that is finally coming together really tight, and it's because all these younger generations of family members are getting into the business, and they're bringing in that younger generation with them.
Yeah.
And because of all of these guys that we're talking about are just guys that were waiting to become legal age so they could start smoking with their dad. And that ended up bridging that weird gap that we were missing. And now you got George Padron's kids, you got Christian's kids, you got Carlito's kids, you got Lito's kids, you got the Garcia kids. I mean, you got Espinosa's kid. You got a lot of younger generation family members that really want to carry these businesses forward, which is kind of refreshing. But still under the watchful eye of the parent company of their parents, right?
Yeah. We're gonna show you a picture.
We're not gonna let our oldest be that guy either.
No. We're going to show you a picture right now.
It's a very sad picture.
Very sad picture.
And a friend of ours from one of our Minnesota cigar groups on Facebook, they know how I feel about the word and the whole mythology behind plume. And unfortunately, it's a box of Tatuaje. Yeah, it says, "Is this plume Matai?" And it's so sad. These beautiful Capa Especials just covered in mold. It's really sad, and
that sucks to see, actually. Unfortunately, not everybody knows how to take care of cigars, and that goes as far as some retailers in the market.
When you posted that picture, I was hoping it was.
Think about it, other than that, it sucks.
It sucks. Yeah.
When he posted that picture, I was hoping he was going to say that was his own collection or, his dad's collection that they forgot about. I was not happy that it was actually a retail store.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, it's a tale as old as time. We've talked about it so many times. It's just sad that just like Pete said, you can't babysit every retailer, and there are some retailers that literally just do not have any idea how to. A, they don't know how to take care of cigars. B, they don't. If they're a head shop that's also selling glassware and vape and other shit, they don't give a shit, except for a few select wonderful retailers. Omar at Ramsey Smoke Shop here in the Twin Cities area is a fantastic retailer who sells all manner of different products at his store. But not only does he curate a fantastic humidor, he knows how to take care of his cigars. But when
I ship all over Omar stuff, all the Ramsey stuff. We ship that from Miami.
Yeah, Omar is truly legit. And sadly, there are just some retailers out there
but he's kind
who
of
don't give a shit.
He's kind of an asshole. He takes good care of his cigars.
Well, there's some people that own cigar stores because they truly have a love for the culture and a love for the business. And then there's some people that own a cigar store purely because it's a commodity. And I prefer the people that actually care.
Yeah.
That actually really love the culture, really want to promote the culture, really think that, every cigar is a baby that needs to be protected. And then there's some stores you walk into and it's just like, oh, they can carry your cigar here. And like, they carry it, but they don't care about it.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Omar's a great dude, and he's got a great shop. There at least twice a week.
You offended Jason. Jason says, my collection? You both know I take better care of my stuff. Yes, Jason, we know. Raul's just busting your balls. We could tell that was from a retailer. And I know which, I'm not going to say.
Yeah, we know where it was.
I know which retailer it was because of those lime green price stickers they had on their boxes. I know which retailer it is, and it makes me sad, and is what it is. You just...
Yeah, well, I'm thankful that I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to know. You can tell me after.
We'll talk about it off the air. Yeah. So
Timbo's got a question.
Oh yeah.
Any plans on coming back to Minnesota again?
Yeah, I haven't been traveling a lot. There's never a no, but there could be a gentle maybe. So yeah, maybe. I just don't know when. The last venture I took was over to Indiana, to Rudy's.
Rudy's is
for the train trip. We had a good time on that, but that's really the last big venture I took. Aside from, obviously going to Germany for a trade show and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, is it
in January? No, not in January. I'm not going anywhere in January.
No, don't.
Soda.
No, come to Minnesota in September. That's the best time to come to Minnesota.
It's beautiful here.
I will say that I told our youngest, the Vikings fan, that if the Vikings get further down, because I keep on asking, are they playing good teams? Are they actually really playing good teams?
They are. They're very good.
They are, right? I said, if they get further down the line, I might consider taking you a game. I actually thought about taking them to the game this last weekend in London.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he's a water polo kid, so he was in a tournament in Orlando playing water polo all weekend. I'm like, yeah, too bad you're gonna miss the game.
Don't they play Miami this year?
Oh, have a team. We don't even have a quarterback down here.
Yeah, I don't know.
The last time they played the Dolphins, I took him to the game, and we had tickets in like a Dolphins section.
Oh yeah.
And he was wearing his Vikings jersey. They're like, who the fuck brought this kid? And I just turned I don't know who he came with.
If you if you make it up, if you decide to come up to US Bank Stadium to watch the Vikings play in Minneapolis, shoot me a text. We'll all get together and hang out for a little while.
Yeah, that could be a definite maybe, because he's dying to go to a game. Yeah, especially a home game.
Yeah, definitely.
That stadium's phenomenal.
Is it?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's top 3 in the country.
I still haven't been to it, but it looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I literally walk right by it when I go to my office, but I don't. I've never been.
Sean's comment. Yeah, Sean, I agreed. Cigar Don Williams, he's a master when it comes to cigars.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of these episodes that Josh from the Vault in Boise did, or Meridian, Idaho did?
No, I don't think so.
He plays like this British dude that is like a master of cigars, and he's just a clown.
I might have, maybe I have. If anybody out there in the comments wants to throw a link in the comments, I might have seen it, but maybe not. But throw a link in the comments, and I'll watch it sometime tomorrow.
They're silly, and we had a lot of fun doing. He had a lot of fun putting together a few episodes. I happened to be in a couple of them.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
So
it's basically like The Office for cigars.
Oh, that's fantastic!
Not a bad show.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
That was not a bad show.
It was a good show. I liked it.
So, is it
time?
I think it's time. What do you think, Pete? Is it time?
Sure, it's time.
All right, guys, it is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. And as always, Numero de los Muertos, brought to us by our friends at Smoke Inn.
I'm Steve here with the GOAT to tell you about Smoke Inn's Cigar of the Month Club. Every month, I personally handpick 5 premium cigars. Another great feature is our Double Down Club. With a simple check mark, you can get double this great selections every month and save $10. Every month there's a special discount code where if you like any of the selections, you can get them at a special discounted rate for our Cigar of the Month Club members. We've made it super simple. All you gotta do is log into your account. There's a little green button there. If it's green, you're active. You want to take a break, going out of town, simply hit the button and you'll deactivate your membership. We get the stuff out on the 28th of every month. Our membership bills on the 28th, and we get every member's package out on the 28th if it's a shipping day. All delivered to your door for $34.95. 5 great reasons on what makes Smoking Cigar of the Month Club the best club out there. Check it out. Peace.
All right, Numero de los Muertos, episode 263. The number this week is 6.
Mm-hmm.
You okay there, Raleigh?
Yeah.
Raleigh's got a frog in his throat. All right, so the number this week is 6, and this is not like 6 per year. This is 6
Ever
recorded incidents in history that were actually recorded incidents. And there's a particular cause.
tattoos.
No.
That was a gimme. Real quick one.
A particular cause to this death? Is it a chemical issue?
I don't believe so. I gotta get my phone here and make sure I've got all my info in front of me.
Is it choking on a gnat?
It's not choking on a gnat. It's not death by crowd surfing. Not death by guitar. Not dying while filming horror movie. I think these are worldwide. I don't know if this is just in the U.S.
Death by wine?
Yeah, I was going to say
Death by wine bottle.
Poison candy?
Puking
No.
in your sleep.
There's a lot more than 6 deaths for that.
Shit.
Death
Just
by
in the
Halloween
music.
candy? No.
Accidentally cremated?
Accidentally cremated.
That's fucked up.
Wow, Angelo. Bro.
That was an accident. He did. He got what he deserved, huh? I told him to keep his mouth shut. He didn't, so he went in the furnace.
Shocked by a bass guitar. No, I don't. It's not that.
Cork in the
Wine
face.
cork to the face. No.
Not shocked by a microphone on stage.
No, although I've been shocked by microphones many times and it fucking hurts.
It does.
A warthog?
No warthogs. Not bad candy corn. Not wrestling a snake. Not
Every
death by
time I go to the
tattoo.
bathroom.
Not a monster theme.
Not exactly.
Oh.
Have we done this one before?
No, not this one. I don't think this one. Because this article I found is from
But it's a real life theme, right? It's a real
it's
life
from
theme.
August.
Yeah, you got to ask that. Is it real life?
It's real life. Yes.
Okay.
So not the movies, not in stories. It's a real life thing.
Correct. Yeah, that's a good question because last year we did
Movies.
movies.
Yeah.
No. Vampires. Animals involved.
I don't believe.
Glory hole gone wrong.
Good Lord.
Well, see, this is where we got Diddy back into the conversation.
Drowning by baby oil.
Not drowning by baby oil.
Slipping on baby oil.
Land or sea? Land. Land for all these. Trick or treating, no.
Stuck in a dryer. I've seen that movie before.
Halloween prank, no.
Oh shit, that's a questionable no.
Yeah, no.
Let me guess. Shot after like throwing shit on someone's door during Halloween.
Ooh, no, but that's a good one. No, Andrew, it's not being scared to death. We did that on the show a long time ago.
See, if anybody threw shit on my door, I wouldn't even shoot them. I just let the dogs out.
You guys haven't seen the movie Ricky Stenicki, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have.
The house burns down and there's no one home.
Mhm.
But they still blame it on
Stuck in a
Ricky
dryer.
Stenicki.
Not stuck in a dryer.
I told you, Stuck in a Dryer is a movie.
Not a
Hey, hey, step brother, can you get me out of the dryer?
What? Why are we? Okay, can we move on, please? So, 6 people died trying to make Gollum alive via lightning. No.
Killed by a pumpkin?
Halloween decoration death. I don't think so.
Ding dong ditch.
No. Haunted house, maybe close.
Haunted house
hit by
collapsing
golf
on
ball.
people?
Slip while wearing juicy. Killed by a pumpkin. No.
I like that one.
Choking. No. Yeah, because Raul's
6 girls in a
choking
cup.
now. 6 girls. Oh, yikes. Death by cigar box. No. Ding dong ditching.
So let's
No.
go back to this haunted house thing.
All right. So
it's
questionable.
house and
it is related to Halloween. Not murders on Halloween. Not slipped on a pumpkin.
And it's not scared to death.
Not scared to death.
Falling in an empty grave. I like that one.
Not 6 girls in a cup. Not a razor and an apple. Wearing jack-o'-lantern as a helmet. Ooh, no.
Listening to Oasis. Hell yeah, that's it. That's it.
I don't think that's fatal.
There you go. That's Jay Davis for you. Stuck in a coffin?
All right, so I'm going to reveal it.
He's going to reveal
I
it.
think we're exhausted, but give us a couple more hints.
All right.
Yeah, a couple more hints. It has to do with a haunted house. I know that one.
Well, not all of them do necessarily, but it's, I don't know, it's related to they're all different, but they're all related to the same holiday, to Halloween. Not candy. It's not pumpkins. Okay. All right, Angelo.
Suffocated in a mask.
Stuck in a coffin. That's one of them. That's one of the 6.
So in the Halloween house, he couldn't get out and died?
So all right, so here's the deal. These are 6 recorded times that people were actually killed in Halloween attractions. So the first one was a moving coffin killed a man in Hong Kong. September 2017, 21-year-old man died after he was struck with a moving piece of machinery in a haunted house. And then the next one is, this is terrible. A high school principal accidentally hanged himself in front of his students. 1957, small farming community of Utica. Annual gymnasium parties commemorating the new pupils. And English teacher Betty Stevens and principal William Hobart devised something for their students. And it was a haunted house for a pre-Halloween party. The principal, who would pretend to be hanging in the middle of a dark room, and then when he went to pretend to hang himself, he actually slipped and the safety wire didn't catch. So yeah. The next one, a teen scared to death. So technically, yeah, one of them was scared to death. In a Ohio haunted house in 2014. And then another fake noose accidentally delivered a real life hanging in 1990 in New Jersey. And then a haunted hayride in 2016 in Chunky, Missouri, or Chunky, Mississippi. What is MS? Which state is MS? Is that Mississippi or
Missouri?
Oh, Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Yeah. A haunted hayride holding 10 guests was moving along the countryside. A large Ford F-150 pickup collided with the trailer carrying people. And then a man was electrocuted at Disneyland's Phantom Manor in 2016. One of the technicians who was working on the attraction was electrocuted. So those are 6 confirmed cases of
Death on Halloween.
people. What's up? Oh, Pete, you're muted.
See,
Death by. Am I crackling in this year though? Because I'm curious. This
A
year,
little bit.
mm-hmm.
You can shut it off and just go through the speakers on your laptop if you want to.
Is it really bad, or
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So yeah, use extreme caution when you're going to a Halloween attraction and when you're putting on a Halloween attraction. So yeah, basically it's death by Halloween.
Wow. Okay. Is that much better? Obviously, right?
Yes, that's awesome.
Much better.
Okay. Yeah, it's the left earbud is one of those ones that fell into Apple's. We have problems with our earbuds, but yours is out of warranty. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you, Apple. Really appreciate that.
And that was
this week's Numero de los Muertos.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right. It's time to reveal this week's Spirit of Mystery.
I will, but first of all,
You want to talk about that?
I want to talk about some swag we have.
Okay, just don't let me forget to reveal the Spirit of Mystery.
So, we finally have our stuff.
Yay! We finally have our stuff.
Can I get some music? Some applause?
I don't know if we have.
Dum dum dum.
Yay!
There we go. So, all right, here we go.
We got our HBTC swag.
This is one.
So we got a couple different. There's one of the. You got to cover up. Here, let me. Here,
you do it.
Do the main camera.
He's better at this stuff.
All right, so let's go. There we go. All right,
Oh,
so
yeah,
this
better.
is the Paleo.
Yeah, look how clean that is.
Paleo lighter, HBTC on the front, and burn cigars, not bridges, on the back. This is a dual torch.
Sorry, he's gonna get into it.
Dual torch lighter.
Really cool.
And then we have another Paleo. This is a classic. You guys all know this. And this has the HBTC logo laser engraved right into the lid, as you can see right there. And we have the well-known Cigar XI2 cutter with the HBTC logo on the back and burn cigars, not bridges, on the front. This is a cutter that everybody knows and loves. And last but not least, we have our beautiful dark blue HBTC logo on the Cigar crystal ashtray. Burn cigars, not bridges, written right into it. These are nice and hefty ashtrays. These will be available very, very soon.
He's about to drop it.
Cigar.com.
And they feel really good.
Yeah, these ashtrays are, I mean, you could, if you needed to use this, if somebody, broke into your house and you really just, all you could reach for was this ashtray, that you could do some damage.
Or you can kill some zombies with it.
Or kill some zombies with it. We've already done that.
See, there you go. That's actually helpful.
Yes. So you can get those on our site.
Oh, they will be available very, very soon on howaboutthatcigar.com. So
Along with
stay
our
tuned.
hats.
Stay tuned for more information and hats and other items as well.
Yes.
So stay tuned to howaboutthatcigar.com
for
information on that. So let's reveal this week's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by Postani Cigars. As you can see, I've already finished because it was really good. I don't know what it was. It was really good. The glass is empty. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Any guess?
Do I have a guess as to what it is? I really don't. No, I couldn't even begin to guess. All right. McAuliffe's Pub presents Driftless Glen, Port Gilbert single barrel bourbon whiskey named after the original name of the city of Racine, Wisconsin. The nose has characteristics of green apple, cherry, caramel, and honey. On the palate, you get caramel, honey, toffee, and a little cinnamon spice. Available at McAuliffe's Pub. Stop in and try one or better. Yet pick up your own bottle. Cases are limited, $65 per bottle. That was a nice pour.
Yeah.
I can't see on the 96 proof, I think is what that says.
I got it on here too. Probably see it better than that.
Okay. Yeah, 96 proof. So yeah, that's a very nice pour. So thank you very much for that.
It smelled delicious.
Yeah, it's very, very, very good pour this week. All right. Let's jump into the lightning round brought to us by J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and the American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 113-year-old El Reloj cigar factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. All right, Pete, you've been on the show many times, so we've got to find some fresh, new lightning round questions.
Shout out to J.C. Newman, great family-owned company.
Very, very, and hopefully, man, they're right in the path of things. So, I mean, they're inland a little ways, but not super far. So hopefully they'll be okay.
Yeah, that neighborhood where they're in, I think it's elevated enough. I'm not sure though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Pete, if you were suddenly given your own late night talk show, you were the host of your own late night talk show, who would you want to be your first guest to interview on that show?
Oh, dude, you're killing me. Alive or dead?
Either one.
Has to be alive, right?
Let's say alive for the sake of let's.
Dude, oh, you're killing me. I'm just gonna say something stupid like give me Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah, I like it.
In what character?
As himself.
No.
Yeah, as himself. Because I know he's a nervous person, so.
So Pete, I got one.
Or either that or Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, Joaquin Phoenix, that would be a good one.
Just because it would be a shit show.
So Pete, if you can be reincarnated as any musician, who would it be?
Ooh. Wow.
Dead or alive?
Like in their prime?
In their prime.
Oh man.
Cliff Burton.
Oh. Yeah.
I'll go reincarnated dead, Cliff Burton.
Original bassist from Metallica.
Yeah. That would have been a fun one. Plus, he was an amazing bass player, so
yeah,
why not have those chops? If I had to go with another musician, though, I'd probably go Randy Rhoads.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, gone too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Way gone too soon. So talented. Some of these questions. Oh, I hate my kids and I get in these arguments all the time. Like, is a hot dog a sandwich? And is a hot dog a taco? Or is a
hot dog is a hot dog?
It's just like, I don't.
It's just a hot dog, but
it's just,
it's between two pieces of bread, but then the bread's connected. I don't know. It's a hot dog roll, like a lobster roll.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I don't like that question. That's disturbing. No, this question is really disturbing. Which would you want to live in? A cheese house or a cookie dough house? That's a disturbing question. I don't know why I find that disturbing. It's not. I don't know.
I love sweets, so probably a cookie dough house.
Cookie dough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the cheese is going to get moldy sooner or later.
Well, it depends on the cheese. I mean, if it's made out of full-on, like, real aged Parmesan, you probably get some extra time out of it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Plus, you can make some good pasta with it.
One more.
I'll keep spitting dumb questions out if he takes his time.
Yeah, go if you've got something.
If there was another country you could live in, and it can't be anything in the Americas, where would you go?
Well, probably Italy or Spain.
Okay. Not France. That's surprising.
I mean, France would be designated to one particular region, but the language is really tough for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Both Italian and Spanish are tough for me. Also, I probably do better in Spain. I just came back from an amazing trip in Spain, so we went to the second most famous or second most whatever not popular, but second best steakhouse in the world that happened to be in a little town that I felt like I was in the movie Hostel. But you eat inside of the bodegas inside the hillside, so you're eating inside of caves. It's really fucking cool. It's called El Capriccio. If you want an experience, it's about 3 hours outside of Madrid, and do it once for sure. Do it once. It's amazing. They raise their own cattle. They raise like crazy old breeds that are pretty extinct that they're, reviving. And you can do a tasting menu which felt like 18 different courses of just beef in different formats. It was epic.
Oh, sign me up, honestly. All right, so last lightning round question. If you suddenly had, the Aladdin's lamp and the genie pops out and genie says, I will give you a choice. You have to choose. You can have one wish right now or 3 wishes spread over a period of 5 years. Which one would you choose?
3 wishes spread over 5 years.
Okay. Yeah.
That always seemed like a no-brainer.
What's 5 years? We lost technically 2.5, almost 3 with the pandemic. So what's really 5 years?
5 years is nothing.
And if you fuck up on the first one, the second one's coming in a 1.5 years, 2 years.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, trust me, you'll fuck up on the first wish. Yeah, you never get the first wish right. You might even reverse everything on the third wish.
Yeah. Well, you just quickly say, I want $1 million. And they're like, okay, here you go. And you get $1 million, but it's Zimbabwe currency, which is worth like 37 cents American.
Yeah, you have to be very specific.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. So let's jump into this week's notable smokables, brought to us by our friends at Don Doroteo Cigars, a brand with both purpose and passion, dedicated to creating change from within. By developing their own land, they're able to own the entire process throughout the life cycle of the plant. They methodically carry out each step, ensuring that the final product is of the finest quality. The new Salt of the Earth lines, Piedra Viva and Piedra Angular, are available now at Don Doroteo retail partners. Visit dondoroteo.com to learn more. All right. Notable smokables. Each week we name a cigar that we smoked recently that was notable to us. Could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades that we retried for the first time in a very long time, or a cigar that's brand new to the market that we've tried for the first time ever. So, Pete, what is something you tried recently that was notable to you?
The cigar I'm smoking right now.
There you go.
Which is a custom Cuban roll. And by the way, I want to say a quick shout out to this guy, Adrian. I know who he is. Thank you, Adrian.
Oh, nice. Adrian, thanks for watching. So yeah, that what you said, it's sort of dubbed the Phoenix.
Yeah, she called it the Phoenix, and it was a custom roll that she had done in Cuba by a friend of hers. And it's actually really, really tasty.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Raleigh, what's notable for you this week?
I knew he was coming on the show, so I had to go into my Tatuaje stuff.
Okay.
I only have like 4 or 5 of them left. It was a call off.
Oh, Carlos. Yeah.
I ain't smoked one in probably 6 months, and it's still pretty damn good.
Yeah. Good cigar. Good size. Good blend.
Mm-hmm. And I don't usually like cigars that big.
Yeah.
I'm more of a skinnier, smaller one.
Yeah.
That thing's fucking phenomenal.
Well, so my notable this week was actually not like insanely old, but pretty old. So Aging Room came out with what they called the Bin #1 back in like 2015, 2016. And they made a few different sizes. One of them was like this box press Toro in a coffin, like a 6x54 box press Toro. And that was such a good size for that cigar. Yeah, the aging room bin number 1 box press Toro. It was, again, because I was going through, I went in there to get a bunch of stuff out of my humidor to send off to Cigars for Warriors. And, I'm reaching through different shelves and trays, and I was like, what the hell is this? And yeah, this aging room coffin, I look on the back of it, and I just scribbled in like Sharpie on the bottom of the coffin, like 2015. And yeah, still good. I mean, close to 10 years old, still really nice cigar.
Smoked girl, huh?
Yeah, after all this time. So yeah, still very good. All right, let's talk about coming attractions. Stuff coming to How About That Cigar very, very soon. Brought to us by Hoagland Insurance. At Hoagland Insurance, they are excited to serve and educate any new customers and give existing customers a refresher. Whether it's a business policy, auto insurance, home policy, or life insurance. If you are currently insured or just looking for a quote, Tony Hoagland and his team would love to create a personal price plan just for you. Mention How About That Cigar when you make your first appointment, and Tony will have a free cigar just for you. For more information, please call 763-421-4900 or visit champlininsurance.com. All right, next week, October 14th, we have Gerald Tritt from Freud Cigars. October 21st, we have Terrence Riley from Aganorsa Leaf. So that is what you guys can look forward to in the next couple weeks on How About That Cigar. And of course, make sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss anything we have coming up. Pete, thanks for being on the show again with us, brother. I believe you are the most returning guest on How About That Cigar Live, and we are grateful every time to learn from you, brother. So thank you.
I love it. I appreciate having me on.
Reminder, if you would please, for all our viewers and listeners, where is the best place for them to keep up with everything going on with Tatuaje Cigars?
Well, the best place would probably be Tatuaje Inc. So Tatuaje INC on Instagram. But I always make sure I collaborate with my other Instagram, which is Tatuaje Cigars. So you'll see it on both places.
Nice.
But yeah, Tatuaje INC.
Fantastic. Well, brother, thank you again, and hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you.
Looking forward to Saints and Sinners.
Absolutely. Me too.
All right, viewers and listeners, thank you guys so much for being with us on episode 263. And want to let you guys know you're the best part of How About That Cigar Live. We are so grateful for you all. Thank you so much for watching live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and
Rumble.
And we are so grateful as well, always, for our audio podcast listeners. If you have any questions, you can email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Be sure to click on all those big, beautiful buttons, the like button, the subscribe button, the follow button, and any other buttons that have to do with How About That Cigar. Be sure to follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You will find us at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys. Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.